And here we are. Welcome one and all to our rescheduled game here on a Thursday night live, not the typical Saturday and Sunday that you're used to, but we are live here with the first match of the season for both Imagine Cloud and Fantastic Four and Zaratai. I'm not exactly sure how to say that. I'm here on the booth and with WookieMonster, who is also the one that is producing and showing you what
Hello.
is in front of you. And yeah, I think we should have a pretty good match here today. I mean, it's always hard to tell because I'm just assuming every match is going to be good because I don't really know the teams yet. But this would be the first time we see both of these guys. So this is the Imagine Cloud. We can look at the ratings, the power ratings that were done by Alls the other day.
Yeah, Cloud is on blue side, if I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
this
Cloud's on
correctly.
blue side, and on the power rankings, Alls had them listed at 8, and Iron Chefs at 5. So according to Alls, this is pretty low tier gameplay. But of course, we haven't seen them actually play yet, so we can't. It's hard to judge teams before you've actually seen them play. Just kind of looked at the roster and made guesses.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, looking at the lobby here, we got pretty good spread. I mean, there's a lot of plats, so looking forward to the
Yeah.
gameplay here as they start the draft.
Yeah, we'll start the job. We'll see Magic Cloud here on the blue side. We'll see if they're with round one land. I haven't had the chance as we kind of scrambled to get the stream started to actually look up all the players and know what their mains are. But I'm sure the players themselves have had time. The teams have known who they were going to play for a while now. It's Thursday. They probably learned like last week. So I'm sure they've done their research. So I'm just going to trust that they know what they're banning. So we see the Vagar being banned out by Magic Cloud. I imagine Chopin probably plays at mid. The Poppy gets banned out. I imagine maybe Cobra or Manly Mailman. The Zillion, a Zillion band is very interesting. I wonder who plays Zillion on this side of Imagine Cloud, but the Elise band as well.
Yeah, it seems
Eagleist
these
as
bands
well.
are going by really
Yeah.
fast.
It seems like they really did their research. Like they really know what they were ready for this. They came in today, obviously prepared. Love to see it.
Yeah, last band going through it. These do look like a lot of targeted bands. I mean, there's the Caitlyn band. Caitlyn's been pretty strong in the meta recently, so ever since um, the early game bottom lanes have come into play recently. So love to see
Mm,
it. Wonder what they're gonna first pick. I mean, Seraphine has been a prominent first pick for like ever. Same with any ADC like Zeri as well. Now that
okay.
Caitlyn is banned out.
Oh, I'm gonna see a misfortune. I don't even know. Ah, man. The problem is that I haven't been playing League nearly as much. I don't even know what the current popular picks are in the bot lane.
Yeah, it's kind of like a mixture, I guess, of things. I mean, you don't really see Ezreal anymore. I think Ezreal and like some of the more late game esque characters are starting to kind of fizzle out. I mean, you see
Oh, really?
Eclipse players, you see like Trinity Force players like Zeri. I
Hmm.
think those come into play a lot during the early game. I mean, Misfortune did get kind of nerfed, but on her AP side recently from the last patch, so
Okay.
that could still be a pick for support Misfortune. We never really know. I mean, I haven't really tested Misfortune AP at least down the bot lane myself, so it could still be a
Is
potential
that
pick.
is that one of the builds for her right now? I see
Yeah,
currently on OP.gg, Misfortune is at the top of the list for the ADC. So according
yeah,
to at least in solo queue, sees that Misfortune is currently in the OP tier with a 29% pick rate and a 22% ban rate.
yeah.
And yeah, I see these builds here. This mostly looks like a crypt build with the I see like the Eclipse build or trying to go see a lot of Kraken Slayer here as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, Misfortune
Yeah.
doing well in the meta. And there's that Seraphine, that bot lane with the Aatrox being picked up as well. And that's Aatrox top or jungle. That the solo lane being picked up here in the first phase of bans, first phase of picks.
Yeah, I like
Could
this
be.
approach. I think it's a good kind of round out for their first phase of the draft because you
Mm,
have Seraphine who's kind of giving speed and health and just a lot of utility to this Aatrox, to this Zeri who wants to get in and get in early game and make sure to cause havoc. So and on the other side they're responding with a very tanky front line. This might be a Sejuani top lane.
oh.
Or
Oh.
hear me out, it could be a Mumu support as well. So
Or a
yeah,
Mumu
right,
being placed
yeah.
around.
So that's a lot of flex picks. I like it. I like the
Mhm.
response. You're not giving the enemy like a knowledge of where your characters are going. I think that's always a good thing. So let's see what the bands round out to though for the final band phase. As a jungler is banned and a mid laner here, making sure that they're taking out all the options to for anti tank, right? Because Trundle will definitely make a mess out of Sejuani and Mumu really quickly. Vex as well has been in the OP tier. Uh, because she does a lot of damage.
Yeah, yeah. And we see the last ban here. So there's some solo lane bans, as you would expect in this the second ban phase.
Yeah, it's
You're
kind of
taking some time on
interesting.
this one.
It's
This last.
interesting because there is a lot of good mid laners in the meta right now, but you kind of have to make sure that you know what you're doing on those champions to make them work. Like Victor, like Vex, like you have to know trading patterns and basically where your spikes are at. So I like to see the OPs kind of banned out in the mid lane here, but we're gonna get Malphite. Wait a minute. All right, so it is gonna be maybe confirmed the Amumu
A
support
Mumu
here.
support? A Mumu
Yeah.
support with misfortune sounds pretty gross.
Now, I love this Silas hover because if you're picking Malphite and you don't ban Silas, that's a free lane for Silas. Silas wins against Malphite any day of the week.
And then
Um,
and then and then you get Malphite T with AP
yep,
scaling. It's a great.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's dangerous to leave that up when you know you're picking Malphite. I don't know if that was
Right.
something they planned on doing, but they might have, wanted to ban out the Silas instead of the Vex. But looks like there's going to be a Lee Sin hover here. That's going to be interesting because, I mean, they could take Silas to the top lane and put Aatrox in the
Yeah.
mid lane. It might
Mm,
be an option, but
mm. This is
hmm,
definitely some interesting drafting here already here
yeah,
by Imagine Cloud. We're gonna see something here. I mean, interesting drafting by both sides with the. I mean, whenever you see Sejuani and Mumu and Malphite being drafted around, like okay, well something interesting is happening. I'm not exactly sure what, but someone there is not going where I would expect them when I hear that champion name.
yeah,
And I do suspect that it's what look at the wombo combo though on the
yeah,
side of Fantastic Four and Zarata with the Malphite ulti with the Misfortune ulti with the Oriana ulti with the Mumu ulti with the Sejuani. Oh my God, they just all press R and if they can get that team fight off, this is GG, isn't it?
yeah. I mean, it very well could be, and this is
It's
really
probably easier said than done,
it's
but
easier said than done, but it's also really, really dependent on the early game because we have Lee
true.
Sin, we have Silas, we have
That's fair.
Aatrox, who I think they're wanting to put Aatrox in the mid lane against Oriana. I think that's a fair matchup. Aatrox can kind of handle his own against a less aggressive mid laner, so it's really dependent on IC to pretty much take care of the early game and make sure that late game never happens for the other side, right?
True, true. That is the way to combat that. Whenever you see the wombo combo in the late game scaling, if you can take advantage of your early game prowess and your early game champions, then they just never get there. You shut them down before they ever get a chance to shine, before they really ever get their late game fantasy, before they get off that perfect team fight. If this just never happens. Also, another way to do it, like if they have stronger solo lane, side lane, that they could just make sure team fights never happen by always splitting it up. Lane swap or something, yeah. I mean, either way, I guess Silas, but they could grab the Malphite ulti for the team fight, but yeah, I would expect it to lean against the Malphite. But maybe, I mean, they could still swap. Like, they don't know where it was gonna go. There is currently no rules against swapping as long as it's done with 30 seconds left in the draft.
Yeah,
So, I mean, by no rules, I mean except for that rule that I just mentioned.
yeah. I do think that it would be better to put Silas against a Malphite because it's a direct counter. Like, if you know how to play against
Right.
Malphite as Silas, it's a free lane, right? You have
Yeah.
priority in that lane for the rest of the game. Malphite can't really do much
It's
about it.
it's like one of the most classic counters. It
Right.
just makes sense. Whenever you think about big tanky rock man, you think like first of all you think magic damage against Malphite for the most part because he kind of scales and does better with armor when he's building armor. Also, if you could use his ultimate with AP scaling against his own team, it's just great. Like Silas, it just works out really well. So
Yep.
would be surprised if they don't. Especially since Oriana ulti is not nearly as nice as still. I mean, it's nice, it works, it's fine, but
Yeah, I do admit that Silas does have a lot of good ultimates to use. I mean,
Yeah, actually,
literally,
I forgot that their entire team is press R. So
yeah.
they all have good team fight ultimates.
Also,
That
one
is
thing to note is Sejuani might be going support lane here instead
what
of the
I just
Amumu.
realized that. I just
Yeah,
realized that.
so that's
What? Why would you do Sejuani instead of a Mumu? Is that a
uh
meme? Are they going to swap? Is Sejuani? But I thought she had like melee synergy.
she does
It,
have melee synergy. She can be used as support. Obviously, it's not as good as other bottom
I
lane
feel like
support tanks, but it's still doable. You know, it sets up really
I
nicely.
guess.
The same way Amumu does, right? They kind of do the same thing, except
Yeah, they could
Sejuani
do
has
like the stun thingy.
yeah, it's a stun. It's a nice AOE stun, and it sets up for Misfortune Ultimate. But
Hmm.
you know, I guess it just maybe it's a preference in playstyle. Maybe it's a champion like they're more comfortable on those champions. That could
I guess
definitely be a
either
thing.
way, in the team fight when they all join together, they'll still have all the ultis. But I just
Right.
oh, okay, okay, there we go. I was like, ain't no
Okay.
way, no way, no way they do said Johnny support instead of Mumu support here.
Yeah, that does make a lot more sense. I think it's
Hmm.
fair. But yeah, this is definitely going to be an interesting match. It's basically late game versus early game prowess,
Right.
right? So I'm looking forward to how the mid lane goes necessarily if they do decide to keep Silas in that mid lane against Oriana or switch with the Aatrox. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting one.
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah. So I guess with that, we'll take it to a short break as the spectator delay goes through. When we're back, we're in game one of Imagine Cloud versus FFNZ. So stay tuned, folks.
we are back now here on the Rift. The players are looks like they're setting up for a 5 points. Just gonna do the line of scrimmage, make sure no one is sneaking into the jungle at any point. Let's see, Manly. Oh, I'm not ready for that name. Manly male mailman. Okay, fantastic,
What a
fantastic.
name.
Yes, they're on the Sejuani. These people. Oh, Eagles Nevada's gonna get first strike here on Chobin in the mid lane.
Yeah, but
Probably not really going to do anything about that Ariana would even recall.
yep.
GG everyone after that first damage. They say in the odd chat, they're talking in the odd chat.
Pretty standard runes all around. Nothing too outlandish as of yet. So I got 3 conquers on the side of blue. So lots of dueling power. I hope this Lee Sin, gameplay. I want to see all the insects that we can get.
Right, right. Eagles Nirvana is one of the high rated. I think is the highest rated player on their team.
Okay,
So
well,
I am looking for some Eagles Nirvana to potentially make some plays. Would love
yeah.
to see it.
Because, I mean, they have to if they want to win this first game of the best of 3 series.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. If also a Magic Cloud has a massive chip on the shoulder, I'm sure being ranked last in the power ratings, they kind of have something. They feel like they have something to prove. I know they've been talking in the trash talk a lot. They also really wanted this game to be streamed, and of course we try to stream every game anyway. But they were like saying, please stream this game that people need to see. So here we
Well,
are.
here we are, and we're going to see some pretty standard starts. It looks like they didn't want Silas to go top lane, so Aatrox is going to handle Malphite, and he really is right now, putting on a lot of level 1 pressure. Like to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like we go down to the bot lane a quick second there. It's gonna be a little bit rough for. I feel like the once level 6 hits for that bot lane, they're gonna do a lot of damage just with the combined ultimates for Misfortune and Mumu. So they're gonna have to be really careful about where they step. Make sure they're not, just allowing a Mumu to toss that bandage onto you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty calm so far. A little bit of trading going back and forth. And we're seeing that Lee Sin is doing kind of a full clear. It looks like he might go gank right now, but he's going to get spotted
But he's
on
gonna
that
get spot on the
ward.
ward. Yeah. Oh wait, something going on in the bot lane. We see it engaged by a Mumu, but we're gonna see Seraphine. The Dr. Dad will take quite a bit of damage. This Ratha's gonna hit him with the. Is it the love taps? I don't remember quite all the names. Yeah, the love tap. That one shot, that first auto attack extra buff shot from Misfortune will do some damage, but nothing too exciting will go on there. Let's continue keeping eyes on the minimap to see where Lee Sin and Sejuani are pathing, as we are very interested in Lee Sin's early pathing. Maybe it looks like he's going to be doing the Krug, but also will be spotted as pings on the map. They know where Lee Sin is. They're keeping good track of him, which is very good on the side of FFNZ, because they need to. Lee Sin is definitely what they need to be worried about in this early game, I think.
Yeah, the Lee Sin is definitely going to be their strong suit here. If they're not keeping track of him, he's going to just go everywhere. So that ward is actually very, very crucial for letting Red Side know where he is and where he might be going. He is just really kind of not deciding on where to go right now, actually.
Yeah, he's definitely all over the place.
So it looks like he's just going to go to Krugs, and possibly he could try to do an early gank here in the bot lane, but, the lane is kind of halfway for him. Yeah, and they know where he's at. They definitely know. So they're going to try the Silas here, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. There's the flash forward, but Silas is you're gonna trade flashes there. Silas flash is down. Keep track of that. Wouldn't think that Sejuani would be the first one to make a move and force something to happen here.
Yeah, that's the power of vision, right? If you're spotted out, exactly. the opponent will react, accordingly, and you can't really gank from there on. So he just ended up doing Krugs and backing and starting off with that Iron Spike whip. It's gonna be a little bit of a slow start for him. Then he's not on tempo, so he's gonna have to make up for that by maybe trying to deny vision, maybe just farming a little bit more camps, and then responding to maybe a dragon play. That could be the option here.
Seraphine has walked into him. probably just gonna help push the lane, because yeah, so I'm not able to get it back off. But I do love to see those plays. It's kind of like higher level thinking, or like stuff sometimes people don't really consider helping your teammate push out of lane so they can get good recall timing. I know I certainly didn't really think about that much whenever I was playing competitive unless someone actually told me about it.
Yeah, this
But
is
like a lower elo thing, but yeah, that's a good thing to do.
I
Helps a
mean,
lot.
like I said earlier, this is a lot of plat gameplay right now. So yeah, it's definitely good to see that sort of responsiveness, and you know the pings going out right now.
Right, right.
They're very the communication is very on point. Like to see it from this game. They do know that Lee Sin is in their jungle on the red side, so I wonder if Sejuani is just kind of poking him out. Yeah, looks like trying to get these raptors. Ooh, I can't tell who is solo. Looks like
Oh, it was about to potentially trouble here. Oh, not what you want to see again. There's a first blood. Amumu will get the first blood on Egoless Nirvana. Drop the Chalupa with the first blood. Oh man.
Yeah.
Again, not what you would expect. We
Not at
expected
all.
Lee Sin to be doing the first blooding, but here we are now.
Hey, here we are now.
Current reality.
That was a really good roam from Chalupa there, right?
Yeah,
you know, your laner doesn't really need you right now, so. Oh, wait a minute, top lane.
Oh, okay, gonna force out the flash from Malphite, and Silas potentially in trouble. And Mumu again with the fantastic roam up from the bottom lane. Brewer in trouble. And Mumu with the double satchel. Eagles Nirvana comes in and gets Orianna super low. Does gonna get the flash forward. Does finish off Orianna and will be able to safeguard out of there. The bot lane has now gone to the mid lane, but we'll see if anything happens. They're up in the top lane, and just Relish gets the kill on Cobra underneath the tower. The solo kill in the top lane. Malphite flashed away, but apparently did not back up far enough because still ended up dying soon after flashing.
Yeah,
which could really suck, because now that means that your flash, you died and your flash is down.
And teleport down, so he's gonna lose that whole wave.
Oh my goodness, you're right. Oh no. Oh, that could be a massive advantage for Just Relish. It already has a 25 CS advantage up in the top lane, by the way. I didn't even realize Aatrox is dominating that top lane for now, for sure.
Yeah. Seems like they didn't really need Silas to be there. I mean, looks like Aatrox is doing a fine job. Also, kind of another one of Malphite's counters, because, you know, Aatrox is more ability-based than auto-attack-based, so as long as he's hitting those abilities, he's not really doing... Malphite can't really respond as much, so makes a lot of sense. I guess they decided that, hey, like, I'm just more comfortable in the mid lane against Orianna. I'll just scale up and, you know, use maybe the Orianna ulti, or if, you know, Sejuani comes, they could use that ulti. But it looks like, you know, he has one of the deaths, and that mid lane kind of play didn't really work out for him. I guess he didn't expect Chalupa to be there again, so good job on Chalupa to kind of respond to that once again. Yeah. So
Seraphine went there to help clear the way, but Chalupa went there to get some kills.
Right, exactly. And so it's even. Gold lead slightly in favor of blue team here. Icy doing a good job of responding on the top side of the map, while it looks like FF and Z's bottom side are doing relatively well.
Yeah.
It looks like Herald might be started up here.
There's like 200 gold advantage on the side of Magic Cloud. CS advantage in both the bot lane and the top lane, but CS disadvantage in the mid lane, I guess, since I don't like to weave. And it looks like they got the repair without any trouble there. The repair is going to go over to Lee Sin.
Yeah, this is going to be good for early gold pressure. I think, you know, he might be thinking in his head, hey, this is a good drop for Aatrox, because, you know, he's been doing really well. Right, yeah. And he's got, you know, one plate already on that top side tower, so it might be a good opportunity to just get Aatrox out of lane and become the monster that he is. You know, he scales very well. He's a good team fighter when it comes down to the mid game, so looking to see where Nirvana drops this. It could be for Silas too. Silas as a champion is just chaotic, you know, always wanting to make plays around the map, but it looks like the next plays might be made here in the bottom lane. Looks like 4 people on FFNZ are grouping up. This is it. Oh.
Is it? Isn't it? Looks like they go. Oh, no.
I don't know about that one.
That just kind of fell flat on its face.
I think he meant to Q first, do the Arctic Assault first, and then do the whiplash, but it just didn't. I guess he uh, miss hit the key on his keyboard, didn't hit the right one in time. Because I think the combo is, you Arctic Assault, and then you, Whiplash, and then you use your ultimate because they're already slowed. Just didn't work out for them as well as they planned. So that was a really kind of a huge waste of time, but it allowed...
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it allowed Silas to reset, it allowed Aatrox to kind of roam. There's a lot of, like, when you fail a play like that, it opens up a lot, right? It's a source of information, so... It looks like IC is definitely going to use that to their advantage.
Yeah, very unfortunate. That wouldn't be as terribly punished in solo queue, but in a game like this, that's really sucks. It's a lot of tempo loss.
And looks like FFNZ's bot side resetting, so that means that IC's bot lane is going to get the Lee Sin help, and maybe this Rift Herald is actually going to help the bot lane out, which I think is fair too. Yeah. It's perfect timing, perfect positioning for Nirvana to be on that bottom side of the map. This could be the whole tower.
Yeah, I think it is.
Maybe. The tower does get that increased armor.
Not true.
Yeah, they're just gonna back it out from now. Lee Sin could stay. Oh. Lee's staying.
Lee Sin, has ultimate available. Could we see something crazy? Probably not.
Yeah, the insect with the dragon wage could come through, but we're kind of setting up for this next. I think this is a Hextech Dragon, even though it does say Ocean Dragon. It's still bugged. Yeah. It's looking rough for Malphite, but remember Malphite isn't really, he's a low. He doesn't care. He's a low economy top laner, right? He just wants to get to those team fights. So, yes, he died once.
Wait a second. I thought this would be not nearly as close.
Yeah.
Malphite is boxing back.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't need as much CS as Aatrox to do things, right? Like, he is definitely, obviously anti-AD, but... Oh, here's the insect. Alright.
Okay. Around that, getting very low. There's the Misfortune ultimate. Gonna take Lee Sin real low, but first Lee Sin will be able to kill Misfortune. Johnny's able to kill.
Oh.
And we're still going in. There's the Malphite ultimate. Cobra teleported in. And still 4 members left alive on the side of FFNZ. Are they gonna end? That should be a free dragon for them.
Yeah, so that was an interesting play. Cobra had the teleport, and so did Relish, but I guess Cobra, or maybe Relish was like, I'm just gonna keep farming up topside here.
The tower.
But,
they're gonna teleport to save Orianna teleports top.
So that was a huge swing of momentum for the side of FFNZ. We get Infernal Soul, I like it. This is gonna be a lot of damage. I'm kind of maybe expecting IC to kind of pick up these next dragons because they still want to end this pretty early, right? They do have Zeri, who does have her first item, but I don't know if it'll be enough. I mean, Aatrox definitely scales as well, so kind of looking forward to maybe seeing...
Who's the most score on the map right now? Aatrox.
Yeah,
is
Aatrox. It's definitely going to rely on him and Zeri to kind of carry them through the mid-game here. We did see that Rift Herald was dropped bot lane, but no tower yet, which kind of slows down their tempo a little bit because they want...
Oh, Lee Sin is approaching bar.
Yeah, this might be a play here. They might actually look to take this first tower.
But that ward is probably going to mess them up.
Yeah.
Ends up going into that bush.
That's not to say that Aatrox doesn't have a lot on this tower in the top side as well, but... He's still got quite a bit to go, and Malphite is really good at defending these towers. He's got that attack speed slow. Nirvana, heading in.
No. Mana was in there. Make their presence known.
Yeah, this is kind of getting dicey for Lee Sin. He hasn't really made a lot of impact unless it was in like a team fight. He hasn't really put a lot of pressure.
As it gets later, it's like you become less and less effective as Lee Sin as the game wanes on.
Yeah, and that's why he's kind of itemizing towards more of a bruiser build. But Relish is in trouble.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
do we see the world? How big is this Aatrox? How big is this Aatrox? This is the test. It's the test. The Just Relis kills one. It's slaying Cobra. Wilson trying to be okay. Oh my God, the damage we don't know. Okay, who was the one that was he trapped in there? Was Just Relis trapped in there with them, or were they trapped in there with Just Relis?
No, definitely a Gore Drinker Aatrox. You have to have anti-healing if you're gonna go for a gank like that on one of those members. They did not.
Oh my goodness! I just realized Malphite did not build Bramble Vest.
Yeah, that's why they got punished that severely. And this is gonna be another Rift Herald for the side of IC. And it looks like this. Okay, they still got the first tower.
Potentially in trouble. Oh, one.
Yeah, he's dead.
Potentially. Definitely.
Definitely.
100% in trouble.
100% in trouble. He should have just left. I mean, his support was nowhere near him.
Yeah.
There was no way to know where Orianna was.
So. Yeah, aware of that. And Orianna running into Silas here, or Silas running into Orianna.
Okay,
we'll
TP.
See what happens here. There's a teleport coming in from Aatrox. Aatrox is very scary.
Okay, they want this misfortune though. Oh, why is Zerathai running forward? Oh no. Oh, I guess there was really no way out of there, right? Yeah, there was just no way out of there. On the opposite side of the map, no supports nearby. Feels bad. Yeah, this is still quite an even game. Only 1k gold difference.
Surprisingly, yeah.
First towers have been dropped on both sides, so pretty even. And there goes another turret. So kind of gonna put a little bit more on the side of IC, but looks like this Malphite here might be in trouble. Let's see Nirvana. Nope. He's just gonna clear the wave.
Nah, he's just gonna go ahead and walk out. Yeah, Malphite, not a trouble. Jeez.
Nah. I mean, he definitely he definitely can't, you know, he has to use his ultimate to kind of get out or just stay in, right? So it's kind of a risk, especially with all, you know, all the dashes and stuff that Lee Sin has. So
true.
But yeah, this next dragon is coming up.
I guess that Lee Sin has a decent amount of damage right now too.
Yeah, I do think that
the second richest member of Imagine Cloud actually is Lee Sin.
Yeah.
See, 4 of the 5 kills are in the top in the jungle. So.
And look at the exact same builds that Aatrox and Lee Sin have. I think that's hilarious.
Oh wow, you're right.
Yeah, definitely itemizing towards the AP. They're not caring one bit about this misfortune, which is kind of technically their only real hard AD scaler that they have.
Yeah, and misfortune is not like an auto attacker, so
right.
She's not like the like AD threat.
Yeah, they're fighting for this dragon. IC knows they want it, and so does the other side.
Spawning. Yeah, here 5 seconds. Dragon spawning. Dragon spawned.
Yeah, looks like all of FF and Z are on it.
FF and Z are in the forward position. They've started it up. There's the Rift Herald. A little bit of distraction as they come forward to the Dragon's about a half health now. Do they have any vision on it? Are they aware that it's at half health? They're going for it, but the Dragon looks like they're going to try to FF&Z going to try to finish the Dragon. Will they finish the Dragon? And they do finish the Dragon. There will not be a steal. And now, will they be a fighter? Will they just forget and move on? Forgive and forget? Yep, okay, let's go back off.
So, this was an interesting play, right? Because they dropped Rift Herald mid on the side of IC. And they didn't attempt to steal. They're kind of playing a little bit safe because they know, like, they can't really win. They're not far ahead enough to win team fights. So they're just gonna...
Especially against the team comp that they're up against.
Exactly. They're automatically just gonna lose these team fights. And this is where it gets, like, dicey, but... They did manage to get that middle tower, which is important, right? Trading.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Oh, God. Oh, Swift Duelist. Oh, no. Oh, Lee Sin jumped in there. Oh, Lee Sin. Oh, Nicholas Nirvana flashed out. Made it out. Now Dr. Dad. Is Dr. Dad going to be okay? We'll hit him with the 3-man encore. We see Lee Sin does go to Zaratha. Zaratha's going to take the hit, but Lee Sin's going to have to kick the mailman, but we'll go down to Zaratha. And meanwhile, at the top lane, Cobra is running away from 2 people. Orianna's on the way though. Orianna with the speed up and with the shockwave. Orianna's gonna be able to save Malphite. And looks like FF and Z get away. Alright.
Wow. a
while
very
being able to take down Eagle's Nirvana.
yeah, that was a really good change in momentum for the side of FFNZ, right? They were kind of behind, and now they've closed the gap a little bit more from that almost 2K gold deficit. So that was really good. There was a lot of misplays coming out from IC, but you know they're still in it.
Yeah, it was like one person got caught out and then someone else had to save them, but then there's also getting caught out themselves.
Right.
So it's like, oh no. So just let them die. It's one of those
Yeah.
situations where
And then the
you should
failed
have kept
gank
your loss.
at the top side.
Right.
Yeah, it really does stack, and now we see that you know the gold lead has kind of evened up.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean at least FFNZ still have you know a majority of the dragons. This is a very even game. Kind of didn't really expect that, right? We expected IC to kind of take the lead in the early game and kind of dominate, but it just seems like Nirvana hasn't really gotten that edge that they needed, right? To kind of get one person, at least one person ahead in the early game, except for maybe Aatrox. But I don't think Aatrox is at the point where he can, like, you know, 1v3 at least. But definitely is still deathless, still has the most CS on his team. Definitely looking forward to seeing where he's placed on the map and what advantages he can get for the team, right? Is he going to be split pushing? Is he going to be joining these team fights? We'll have to see. Chalupa clearing a little bit of vision here as Baron is on the table, but I don't think any team is kind of prepared to take it. Could make a case that FFNZ are definitely, you know, able to take it, but alright, looks like Swift Duelist kind of narrowly escapes that Sejuani ultimate there. Good positioning from the Zeri player right now. It's definitely like Swift Duelist was doing really good during the beginning of the game, and then dropped 2 deaths. And I thought, you know, I expect that Zeri will do a lot more damage during the later stages when she gets the what is it, the Last Whisper, maybe a Phantom Dancer. But we'll have to see, because those dashes will be crucial to dodging the skill shots, dodging the unstoppable force, all of that. Those abilities, yeah, it's going to be really crucial to see where she is positioned in these upcoming team fights.
Interesting objective gameplay here that FFNZ are up 2 kills, but still down about 1,000.
Yeah, that is mainly, I think, due to the plating.
Also up 2 Jackets to 1.
Yeah,
the plating, yeah, it's 2, yeah. Aatrox is having just bonkers money. Although Miss Fortune's close, actually.
Yeah, Miss Fortune definitely making a case for herself. We see why she's one of the stronger ADCs right now. I mean, she just farms effortlessly. All she has to do is kind of show up to the team fights, throw her ultimate, and kind of just leave or just not get killed.
Another dragon time yet again. Dragon tails, dragon.
Yeah, they're trying to bush stack here. TP comes in from Cobra. Yeah, this is gonna be good.
Ultimate picked up by Silas. Okay. Silas really does have his pick whenever they get into team fights. Really has his pick of good to find. Yeah.
So I think it's really on him to kind of start this fight then, right? You don't want the enemy kind of counter-engaging or engaging on you first.
Yeah. You definitely don't want FFNZ to be able to pull the trigger and get their team fight off that they want.
Right.
Because their team fight is very, very scary. If they get there engaged, if they get their Malphite, Orianna, ulti, Miss Fortune, Mamumu, if they get there engaged, I feel like you just lose on the spot.
Yeah. Maybe Nirvana makes an insect play.
Okay, Desperella's walking it up potentially. No, Iglis Nirvana again with the Sonic Strike, Sonic Wave, landing on. Okay, oh, there is the engage by the Malphite, and there is, yeah, that's just not what you wanted. And people are dying, and FFNC, they got the fight, and they're going after him, and oh my goodness, it's an ace, and no one at FFNC dies.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about. I think that's like, literally exactly. It's like, hey, don't let them start the fight. If they start the fight, it's over.
Yeah, and I mean they did.
And they just took too long. They couldn't. They were posturing back and forth. They couldn't figure out exactly how they wanted to approach the fight, exactly how they should start it, and they just get clean ace. They were up on gold before that time, before that fight started,
Yep.
and just got clean ace. Clean ace. Talk about just ease of execution. Just the press R show.
Yeah.
They just press R and then they just win.
It's definitely the
And
easiest thing to do, but yeah, I think you're 100% correct. They just couldn't start it properly, and Nirvana did land a few Sonic Strikes, but couldn't really, I guess, didn't really find the right target that he wanted. But
right,
you know, the
yeah.
beautiful thing about Lee Sin is you can always reposition with your flash and make sure that
Right.
kick actually lands. I mean, Silas could have
Yeah.
started that fight too. I mean, he has several ways to get in, right? So
Yeah, that's true. And he had the Mumu ulti
right, it was definitely
available as
possible.
well.
But I think the one good positioning thing that Icy did was at least Dr. Dad was in the back. He didn't actually get hit by the Malphite Unstoppable Force, right? He was able to land a 5-man Seraphine ultimate. So that was one thing going for them, but it was by then it was just too late.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunate. It's crazy.
Yeah, now they pick up Baron, so let's see if they continue to kind of take towers, regain their gold advantage, and keep it this time. And I feel like they might be kind of spotting another team fight pretty soon here, or at least a small skirmish, right? Because they do have the push advantage. Yep, there's Relish, maybe? Nope.
Oh.
Yeah, this is
They can get caught out here with the Baron play. We'll see what they do with this Baron. They're trying to find something. It looks like they're probably looking for the top tower. See Orianna is pushing up the minions up in that top tower. The top tower will likely fall. Definitely not worth it to try and defend it if you're out of position. We'll see Silas may make an attempt. Okay, Silas maybe just try to catch out Orianna potentially.
yeah, this is interesting. I wouldn't expect that you put Orianna in the side lane. I mean, she's a very squishy champion. I think Silas could really take
Here it is. Oh, but Orianna is up 2 levels. Can Silas take Orianna?
Oh, wow.
No, not at all. Now I was like, as he walked up, I was like, wait, he's down 2 levels. I didn't realize Silas was 1 and 3. Orianna was 3 and 1 and 4. Orianna actually had the major advantage on Silas. They're up 60 CS. I didn't realize how strong Orianna was compared to Silas. And now Orianna teleports down to the bot lane. They're going to take the bot lane inhibitor tower. They're going to go on to the inhibitor as well. And
might
they
be the
have
end.
the Baron minions. And yeah, this could very much so look like the end here. 27 minutes. We didn't expect that this game would end before 30. But that it was going before. But I mean, it's just the explosive team composition, the explosive team fights. They get 1 tower. They have these cannon minions that are destroying these minions, going on to the maybe next tower. Next tower. Yep, they're on the next tower now. And oh my god, look at the damage that they do to that tower. And there is the engagement, the Malphite, and there are the ultimates. And oh my god, it's just ease of execution. There's the Nunu ultimate as well. They're gonna do some more, and yeah, it's just not. They just can't. I think it's just a draft difference, and that's gonna be game 1 going over to FFNC. Fantastic performance from Rodney. Take game 1, and it was 5-7, and it ended 5-18 like 3 minutes later.
Yeah, that was crazy. All 5 of those kills were like really early on, and then it just stopped
Right.
from there on. They FFNZ kind of just ran every team fight perfectly well. Everybody had bounties at the end of that game on the side of FFNZ, so definitely a good showing from them. All right, well, I guess that'll take us to a short break while we get ready for game number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, FFNZ take the first game. Don't go anywhere, though. We've got more action. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Black Twitch League. This is going to be Game 2 draft of Fantastic Four and Zerathai versus IC and Imagine Cloud. And with me now in replace of Ito, it's going to be, is it Celio or Celio? I forget.
Celio.
Celio. Okay, I was close. It was close. But yeah.
You know, I managed to watch that last game, and I have to say that Fantastic Four played fantastically. They had a simple comp to execute, and they did it beautifully.
Yeah, and they are going to switch sides, so FF and Z are now on blue side, while IC is on red. Looks like the same bands are kind of going out. The Elise, the Vigar. It's kind of if it's not broke, don't fix it, I think is the saying. But yeah, I think IC definitely needed to change how they played the early game with that comp that they had. It just seemed like the Lee Sin wasn't working too well. The positioning and the wards coming out from the other side were very, very on point. Spotted him out almost probably more than half of the time. He just didn't know what to do because the enemy was responding to him moving around the map so well. So we'll see what kind of changes. Okay, there's one change right there. Looks like Misfortune is going to get banned out, but FFNZ decided to take the Seraphine away from IC this time. So good
Seraphine,
draft. Yep,
Seraphine.
Seraphine.
Great pick, able to flex between mid and bot lane. You don't really know where it's going yet, so it always keeps you on your toes. It's hard to draft around a Seraphine.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, I love playing Seraphine and flexing Seraphine. You know, it's definitely one of those characters you're like, oh, I mean, I think I could beat her. And then you're like, oh, wait, no, I don't think I can. She just does everything you want her to. Sivir Braum.
Braum, great pickup. Immediate counter to the Seraphine. Once you get the stand behind me going, it's very hard to break through that shield. You're immediately just getting bombarded from the other side. You've got the Sivir there, you have the speed up, you have the ranged poke. This is a really good initial draft by Imagine Cloud.
Yeah, I do like that. It also forces Seraphine to be like, okay, well, it's not going to really do me well to go bottom lane, so you're kind of like wedged into going mid lane, right? Like, no matter what, if you're ADC or support Seraphine, you're against the Braum, and that's probably not what you want. Akali.
The Akali pickup.
That was banned last game. I think maybe away from them. I can't remember off the top of my head.
This is a comfort pick.
Okay.
They do like to play the Akali. They do like to flex the Akali as well. So you really don't know if this might be going top lane. There's a very slim chance of it happening, but there is still a chance.
Yep, and IC is going to respond once again with the Aatrox. I think it did really well last game. They just couldn't find their footing when it came to those team fights. I think Aatrox is a very, kind of more situational champion where it's like, oh, like, I know I can scale, but I just need to get over the edge. I need to get out of this lane. I need to start dominating these early game skirmishes. And they just couldn't get him to that point. Lee Sin did, I think, last game pop the first Rift Herald, I think, bot lane. So I was expecting it to go top lane because he was doing the best on their team. Like, he had the most CS on their team. He had the most kills. He had, like, 2 kills. He was deathless at one point. But couldn't find their footing. Let's see what kind of changes they'll make with this new comp going forward. They're going to ban out Irelia.
Relish did play very well on that Aatrox in the top lane, managed to get himself pretty far ahead in the early game there, found himself a solo kill, even managed to respond in a 2v1 by taking out a Brewer in the top lane,
Yeah.
I believe it was, and then managed to walk away from the jungle gank there. In fact, did a ton of damage to them as well. They were forced to retreat.
Yeah, they were
It, when it
definitely on the
came
ropes.
when it came to the team fights, he couldn't really find his positioning, but of course, when you're going against something as hard as the Malphite, the Amumu, the Sejuani, and the Misfortune, you have so much AoE lockdown and damage that it's hard to get away from that, especially on the Aatrox.
Yeah, looks like both teams are kind of changing things up a bit here. Talia being hovered here. That would be a great jungler. Oh nope, it's changed to Galio. They did a whoop on me, and I guess that is going the mid lane. So they're blind. Well, not blinding, but they're kind of trying to counter the Akali here with the Galio.
Definitely, and when you're showing 3 AP already, Galio is
Yeah,
never a bad pick.
definitely not. It's like choosing Rammus when the enemy team has like 4 ADs, right? So
Exactly.
definitely a good choice here, as it looks like the jungle is actually going to be the counter pick here. As Hecarim, man, can we get Hecarim out of the meta, bro? I'm so tired of seeing him.
I see Hecarim everywhere, man. I,
Yeah,
I also gotta say, I see way too much Maokai now as well.
yeah. Both of those champions definitely are, kind of strong on the tier list right now. Let's see what they round out their comp with. They have an ADC to kind of choose here. Now that we know that Sejuani is kind of going top lane. I mean, they might put Sejuani elsewhere, but nope. They're gonna do the standard Seraphine Ash. I like that combo. Uh, I don't know how
A
well it'll
lot of
do against Braum. Yeah, they kind of have to shift towards utility, right? Because we already have our mid laner, which is Akali, and so Seraphine is definitely going bot lane, so they have to just stack utility and make sure they're weak side. But they kind of have to avoid any ganks. Ashe is a very good person to do that with. The lockdown.
Ooh,
Ooh, wow, that's an aggressive pick. Walk me through that one, man. Like what?
that has gotta be confidence here. Right now, Viego's gotta be a safety pick. You know, it's a comfort. It's something you like to play. You've got the execute on the Seraphine there. You have the execute onto the Akali. You have things that you want to change into with the Hecarim or the Sejuani. You have a lot of survivability on this Viego, but the question is, can he get started on it? Can he get rolling on it?
Yeah, anytime I see a Viego get like 2 kills before like 10 minutes, it's like, oh, well, this game is gonna go real south real quick. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like FFNZ have a really strong late game team fight comp. It's pretty much almost the same thing as their last comp. They want to just wait till everybody hits level 6 and then kind of does stuff together, right? But the only thing is that I think their bot side might be played as the weak side this time. We saw that IC was kind of the ones in control last game, if I remember correctly, and then we had IC's top lane be the ones, or swap that around. It was their bot lane that was the weak side, and then their top lane the weak side. It looks like there might be a change of pace here, right? So we're gonna have to see. Both teams have good scaling, good synergy with each other. I feel like Galio supporting Viego is going to be a really good thing to watch out for, or Galio supporting any of the two melee bruisers that they have, right? There's going to
Of
be
course,
a lot of
I
good team fight here.
I think if you are IC right now, what you're gonna want is those early game picks in the jungle. You're gonna want to move as three. You're gonna want your mid laner and your top laner to follow on Viego on an early game invade, and you want to try and find Sejuani or Hecarim, whoever is jungling out. You want to find them without any backup, and you want to start slow rolling yourself there. So I think you need to play Vision early, and you need to really collapse together here.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Galio's huge chunk of CC that is definitely useful for Viego to lock down somebody with, and Viego needs that, right? He's not a very tanky champion. He's gonna be, if he tries to invade alone, it's not gonna work out too well for him, especially against Hecarim. I mean, we're gonna see a lot of early stuff coming out from Hecarim, I feel, and as much as I hate that champion. He is very good when it comes to kind of securing the ganks, making sure that catching your opponents off guard when they don't have vision. Jungle tracking is the name of the game once again here. Just like we saw last game, we saw FFNZ have really good vision control over the Lee Sin. Let's see if that kind of continues here on out. I mean, they do have an Ashe as well, so that's going to help a lot, spotting the Viego wherever. Yeah, this is going to be another interesting one. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than it was last game. We had a lot of even fights and skirmishes during the early game last game, but then FFNZ just kind of said, hey, one team fight is all it takes for us to win the game, right? So I think it's going to be a little bit more even this time at least.
You know, FFNZ really decided to continue to play around their strong suit here. Last game we saw them with a very CC heavy comp. This game we see them again with such a very CC heavy comp. They're really going to want to start pushing those levels early and then grouping together for those early game team fights. I think FFNZ is going to put a lot of priority on this dragon, try to catch IC rotating and stacking together, and I think that's their engage. And once you get that engage onto someone like the Viego or the Sivir, they're not going to get away, and you just have so much more to lock down those kills and continue to push through the team.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And, I mean, this is going to come down to how well can IC's bot lane kind of navigate these fights, right? Because they are put on the pedestal here. They do have an aggressive bot lane that can poke out Seraphine and Ashe quite well. I mean, Ashe is not very mobile, so those boomerangs are going to hurt. And, they're going to have prio, I think, for most of the game, which means dragon control, right? We saw a lot of back and forth dragons last game. I feel like that might be skewed this time around. I think that having Galio roam around and be that worldwide resource of, hey, I can help you out wherever you are, for the most part at least. And if you need me, I'm here. I'm Galio. I've got the CC. I've got the lockdown. Aatrox and Viego are right behind me, and they're going to do a lot of damage. So
I am very excited to see how this game plays out. I agree with you. I think all eyes are on Swift Duelist and Dr. Dad here. I think the two of them really need to go above and beyond here.
yeah, we saw them on Zeri last game. I feel it's a little bit different, right? Sivir's definitely the one to have the prio this time.
And as we see here, it's actually going to be a Seraphine ADC with an Ashe support.
Wait a minute. What? Oh, man. Okay. That's a line.
A little bit different.
Huh. All right. That is a little bit different. I kind of like that. I don't know. I feel like it's appropriate.
I don't think it's the worst thing here because Seraphine clears the waves a little bit quicker than Ashe would, is able to farm a little bit safer than Ashe can. So this might actually be the play here. I think this is a good idea.
Yeah, I do too, actually. I think it's appropriate because, we're already in a losing lane. You might as well have the wave clear at least to make sure that even though you're getting pushed in, you still can pick up the CS. And I do think that Seraphine does that quite well, as she is very flexible. But yeah, that's going to be game number 2's draft right there. Who are you really thinking is going to win this one, though?
If I had to put my money on anybody, I think it's going to be Imagine Cloud this game. And the reason why I think that is because with Ashe being in the support role, Hecarim is your main AD damage. And if Hecarim blows up in those fights, it's all AP from there. Galio's going to be able to tank that. Aatrox is going to be able to Hex Drinker throughout this game. There's no way he doesn't. So you're really going to be falling to the raw amount of magic damage you have being what brings you down as well.
I have to say, that is going to be a huge kind of pressure on Hecarim, but after the buffs, it's very easy for Hecarim to get to that, right? He's got a lot of damage stacked onto him. Now having 4 stacks, or is it 3 or 4? I think it's 4 stacks on his Q. That is a little bit crazy, right? That's ramping damage, and assuming that Hecarim finds the angles and finds the ganks like they did last game. I mean, we saw the Sejuani do a ton of work last game, so even before the Lee Sin did. right? So
True.
look to see that again. I do think that yes, the IC has a lot more setup, but I don't know. I still like the team fight coming out from FF&Z, and if they play it the same kind of way they did last game, where they just kind of didn't really do too much in the early game, kind of let things happen and make sure they have prio, just when they needed it. I think they'll do fine, and Hecarim being the one that, yes, the pressure is put on him, I think he'll get away with it being Hecarim. I just hate Hecarim. That's my point I'm trying to make here. But
Hecarim is very strong right now. It is
yeah,
very easy to ramp up on Hecarim. More movement speed gives you more attack damage. And, Hecarim can very well hold these fights, find his way on Viego and Zipper in the back line, and manage to do a ton of damage before Relish and Dr. Dad can really get over there to help. But realistically, Dr. Dad's got to be pressuring the rest of the team away. That wall is such a crucial element here. Once that wall goes down and gets used, Seraphine's looking for those engages, Sejuani's looking for those engages, Ashe is looking for those engages. You gotta be really careful.
well, I guess it's a wall versus a horse here in game number 2 of IC versus FF&Z. We're going to take a short break, but when we're back, we're going to have game 2. Guys, don't go anywhere. Alright, welcome back everybody to game 2 of Imagine Clouds versus Fantastic Four and Zerathai. I'm one of your hosts, WookieMonster. Alongside me is Celio, right?
That's right.
Alright, I got it this time. And we're in game 2. This is, like we said, it's going to be an intense game. These summoner spells and runes are pretty interesting. We have no flash on Cobra in the top side on Sejuani. I think that's pretty standard, right? We've seen it countless times. Sejuani tops always kind of elect to just go the teleport. They don't really need flash. They have that Arctic Assault. to get them over walls and such. And then we have
Minions have
a
spawned.
cleanse on Swift Duelist. I think that's pretty necessary, considering the amount of CC that the opposing team has. Even with that spell shoot, I think that's not enough, right?
Yeah, I think the cleanse is a beautiful idea here. You know, you're up against the Seraphine, you're up against the Ashe, you're up against the Hecarim and the Sejuani. You gotta have more ways of being able to get out of that. I fully expect him to build a Mercurial Scimitar this game as well, just to make sure he's got that safety, he's able to be in those positions, and even if he does get caught, he's got a way out.
Right. I definitely agree. And a little bit of trading going on in the bot side here as well as the mid lane. Can't really expect too much responses just yet from either side.
I was going to say, I believe this is going to be a pretty slow early game. I don't expect too much to happen until around the 7 or 8 minute mark when teams start to rotate for Dragon.
Yeah. Because, I mean, everybody gets level 6 and it's like, oh, well, I mean, we have so many good ultimates here. We have to use them, right? I do think that Nirvana has to step up the game from last game, right? We saw him on the Lee Sin. He just couldn't find the angles that he needed to. And Viego, yes, is one that scales, but he can do a lot of good lockdown, especially pair with the right character, right? You could definitely maybe gank bottom side who doesn't have really good mobility, right? I mean, that's it's a line, I guess. It looks like
I was going to mention the same thing, especially because Viego passive on those abilities, proccing the Braum passive more.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely think it's a line, but it looks like he's invading the enemy jungle here with Aatrox.
He is going to get spotted out there by the Hecarim. Hecarim's going to choose to walk out knowing that Galio's no longer in lane. Sejuani also calling Aatrox is no longer in lane. I did mention rotating as a 3. Being able to move together puts so much pressure on that Hecarim. They're going to manage to steal that blue. I don't know if they know that Hecarim's kind of looking to steal as well. Goes straight for that bot crab scuttle and then goes right into the jungle.
Yeah, I think Hecarim might have a Galio and Viego on the way, it looks like. As the Directed Cam is just strictly bot lane at this point. No, he's gonna go bot lane.
Oh, it looks like we have a fight that's gonna break out here. The exhaust gonna be dropped onto the server, dropping real low. Swift Duelist trying to run away. First blood goes to the Hecarim, but Hecarim looks is dropping real low. Is gonna fall to Egoless Nirvana. The stun's gonna come in there. Oh, and Chobin manages to pick up Dr. Dead. Egoless is gonna pop the flash. He's gonna stick on top of Chalupa. Manages to pick up 2 kills in the early game. Now they're on the back foot. FFNZ forced to run up through mid. The slow comes out by the Ashe, and by Viego here, and he's gonna get a little more damage there. But then he's gonna let this one go.
Wow, that was an interesting fight, and we talked about this. Egoless Nirvana now has 2 kills. He's online. That's so the 2 kills before 10 minutes always gets me on Viego. It's just like such a detriment to the enemy team because now he's gonna have a lot of good pressure on this Hecarim, and we already saw him pressuring the Hecarim. Ooh, Relish.
Relish dropping really low. But yeah, you mentioned it before. The one thing that you can't have with Viego is him getting those 2 early game kills, which is exactly what he got here.
Oh, I guess I'm just telling the future at this point. As Hecarim,
we call that foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing, yeah. But Mailman.
Oh, it looks like a possible dive is going to go down in the top. They're going to get him as well. Cobra tanks that tower, is able to walk out. What a beautiful dive.
Good response coming out from the other side. They did get first blood as well. Oh, Swift to drop the Chalupa. Have a little bit of 1v1.
Chalupa took a little bit of damage there, but he's going to manage to get out by auto-attacking that blast cone. Able to send Swift Duelist right back over the wall.
I absolutely love the roams coming out from both of these teams. I mean, they've kind of equaled them out. Like Braum and Ashe and the rest of them, they're not really like movable. I mean, you do want Ashe and Seraphine to kind of stick together so that not one of them gets blown up, right? But I do like the Braum roams. They're always gonna be solid, right? They're definitely useful in other areas of the map because Sivir can clear the wave as much as she wants anyways. So
I was gonna say, And honestly, giving Sivir that solo EXP is never a bad idea. You can get out and roam to the mid lane as Braum. You can roam to the jungle as Braum.
Yeah.
While Sivir just one-shots the wave. But meanwhile, Brewer's going to start to find this engage on Chobin. Just Relish manages to come down to the mid lane and he lands the W, but it's a little too far away to make something happen.
Just trying something. He might lose a little bit of CS as he returns to the top side, but not too much. Looks like this first dragon is going to be Cloud, so maybe IC thinking about it. Has 3 members on that side of the map. Yep, they're going to start it up.
And this is a great call. You know, Cloud Drake does give you that out of combat movement speed. It may not be a whole lot of movement speed, but it's just enough to get you into those places and get you on those rotations even quicker. And we see that IC is rotating very well to help out Egoless Nirvana in the jungle there and to find those picks. It just gets them there that much faster.
Yeah, he's already working on that Divine Sunder, it looks like, and he's halfway there. On the other side, though, Mailman has also kind of worked towards, I guess, the Divine Sunder. Might be a Trinity Force. I'm not really sure which one he might go for, but... Oh, here we go.
Oh, it looks like we got the engage by Dr. Dad onto Zerathai. He's dropping really low. Swift Duel is going to manage to pick that kill up. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Manly Mailman is going in onto Just Relish. Just Relish dropping really low.
Ooh.
Manages to get the knock up under tower, but it's not enough as Manly Mailman hits the Q button and walks out.
Wow. Power of Hecarim, man. The power of Hecarim.
Ooh, drop the Chalupas in a pretty scary spot here. It looks
Oh.
like they're threatening this dive, and that's exactly what they're going to go for as Egoless Nirvana shows up. He's tanking the tower, manages to get the kill there, and he's going to try to run out here. He does manage to, and the TP from Akali was stopped there. Brewer managed to hit her with the taunt.
Wow. Yeah, really good play by IC.
That
Like-
had to be some amazing communication. You know Brewer was on the mic like, I stopped her, go, 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 go.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you're playing this type of competition, or when you're playing this kind of comp, I mean, it's definitely like you need to stop responses from happening, right? You can't let this Viego die. You can't let any of these characters really die on the side of IC, right? They've got to carry the momentum. You can't be giving shutdowns to this Akali, to the Seraphine, right? They're gonna become big as the game goes on. So I do like that. This is still an even game. I didn't expect it to be this even again, but 3 kills on both the junglers. I mean, that's.
The name of the game right now is the jungle.
Yeah.
Right now, Manly Mailman and Egoless Nirvana are both playing insanely well. They both have 100% kill participation at 9 minutes and 20 seconds into this game.
Yeah, let's just see which one comes out on top. They're kind of edging towards Rift Herald, looking for topside gank here, maybe?
And you know there is no vision on this Rift Herald right now.
Ooh.
But after that onslaught picks up Just Relish, you know they're going to head down that way. Egoless Nirvana already backing off the Rift. He knows that they're going to come down in spades here. Swift Duelist forced to back off here on the 1v2. Braum is mid-side right now. So they know that, you know, Swift Duelist is alone in the spot lane. We're going to have to do our best to take an advantage here. Braum's coming down through the river, but this is warded. He might be a bit out of position here.
Might be, as they are taking Rift Herald on the side of FF and Z. Dr. Dad was spotted out, but they're going for it anyways.
Swift Duelist pops the ultimate. They try to get in there, but not a whole lot is going to happen. Braum did flash. He drops the ultimate. Swift Duelist throwing in a couple of boomerangs on the back there. It looks like the Engore's going to come out. The cleanse is popped in order to stay alive. Flash as well. Dr. Dad's trying to run out here. Swift Duelist runs right into Chobin. Chobin's going to use this as an engage opportunity to get onto Dr. Dad. Manages to land the E, follows it for the double kill. Little does he know, in that bush is Egoless Nirvana, who also has a flash of his own, manages to go in, ultimate, gets a rampage under his belt just under 11 minutes.
Yeah, and as I was saying, this game is even. Actually, it's almost 2k gold lead in the favor of FFNZ. You know, it's kind of crazy, right? Because we would expect Galio to kind of have the roam advantage, but it was Chobin this time who had it.
Chobin is playing this beautifully. You know the communication here between Chobin and Manly Mailman and Zerathai are all very high. They're all communicating with each other incredibly well in order to participate in getting this as far ahead as possible.
Yeah, and we see that this time it looks like Relish is kind of on the back foot this game, comparatively to Game 1, right? Like, he was dominating on this Aatrox in Game 1, and now he's kind of having to succumb to these ganks from the Hecarim over and over again, and he's not getting enough output out of this Aatrox. But we'll have to see at this Dragon. This is going to be the first, probably 5v5 team fight, maybe.
Ooh, Swift Duelist managing to pop the Spell Shield in time to stop the Hecarim knockback here, but Just Relish is here just in time, manages to pull back, forcing the onslaught out. The Enchanted Arrow is going to land. Chobin's looking for his entrance onto Dr. Dad, might find it, but they decide to let it go.
So that was a whole lot of stuff used, kind of for nothing, almost.
That was a ton of CC used, and now advantage is IC. But it looks like they're starting to try and rotate up here. It looks like this might be a fight. It's a pincer attack as Cobra's in the backline. They do manage to pick up the Dragon, but what for? The Galio ult's going to come out here, but everyone's dropping insanely low on the side of IC. They do manage to turn around a little bit and pick up a kill. They manage to drop Cobra as well. Eagerless Nirvana is going crazy right now. Transforms to Sejuani, gets another kill. He's going deeper. He's going deeper. The quadra kill by Eagleless Nirvana.
Penta?
And they're not going to let this go. They're going to chase this. Is this the first pentakill of the season?
Oh, it's
They're
so
gonna
close.
continue chasing this. They got the speed up.
Oh.
They're gonna let it go. Quadra kill. Egoless Nirvana.
Wow.
8-0.
That is absolutely insane. It took him a bit to ramp up during that fight, but yeah, he just kind of cleaned it up, right? Like, the health bars were, from both sides, were very low. And, you know, that kind of makes Viego a little bit excited, right? So,
You know, the confidence to make a play like that, you saw 3 of your team drop, and most people would be scared to keep that fight going. They would look to try to disengage there, but that was confidence. He knew what he was doing, and he wanted to make that play happen.
Yeah, all of the CC was pretty much gone by the time that he started ramping up his kills, right? There was nothing left for the side of FFNZ to do. They just kind of sat there and took all the damage from Viego, who got a lot of resets very quickly and just kind of cleaned up. Really well played by Eagles Nirvana. And I mean, as much as like it's good to have a lot of kills on Viego, I don't know if like having all of the kills on Viego is necessarily the best situation, but they made light of it, right? They took the advantage that Viego was free to do whatever, and they got the kills. They just need to spread them around a little bit, make sure that you know, your carries are getting some sort of relevancy in the game. Relish is 2 levels down on Cobra. Holy moly.
Relish is having a very tough time here. After being ganked so many times, being dove so many times, he's finding no ways back into this game. He's trying to play slow and farm this up. But you know, I have to say one more thing about that team fight we just witnessed. And I think that is that most of the community would agree with me in saying that that was a Viego moment.
Yeah, definitely. Just Viego gameplay here. Okay.
Just Relish managing to come out of the bush here onto Cobra and get a little bit of damage down, but he might have bitten off a little more than he can chew as he dies to Cobra. 0-5 right now for Just Relish. It's gotta be tough trying to find your way back into this game, and I don't think sitting in lane with the Sejuani is the answer.
Yeah, I think they have to move Aatrox somewhere else, especially now that the tower is gone. Would have liked to see it a little bit more earlier, that transition go, but you know, it is what it is. Aatrox is kind of taking the fall on the weak side, as you know, kind of foreshadowed earlier in the draft. I was like, okay, bot side is gonna have a fun time, while top side maybe not. But you know, it is what it is. He is Aatrox. He will scale eventually, just not right now. And at least Viego is kind of making up for it, right?
I have to agree. Right now, the name of the game is Nirvana. He is really running this for the side of IC. You know, when you have 100% kill participation on your team, not only that, but you're holding 99% of the kills. You know, you have to feel good right now. You're 2 items in boots. You're the most powerful champion in this game at this moment. It's gonna take 2 people, if not more, to handle you.
Yeah, and it looks like it's gonna go to another team fight here as people are pinging Dragon. It is a Mountain Drake, so not the end of the world if either team doesn't get it, but still something nice to have, and especially when you're pretty far ahead on Viego. You definitely want to at least try to attempt to fight for this. Maybe control some vision as they're doing now.
I think if you're IC, you really want these dragons just
Oh,
to
no.
stay alive. Ooh, Relish being caught out in the mid lane. 4 are gonna go around him and manage to kill him here. They're not gonna give a chance to pincer.
Oh no. This might
but I
end
believe
disaster.
It was very well a big pickup here. And, you know, if you're IC, you really want Dragon just to survive that CC, but Egoless is gonna get caught, manages to pull Chobin over the wall as well. The onslaught comes in, they're fighting this beautifully over the wall. Galio's gonna manage to drop the ulti there, give everybody a little bit more stats, keep everybody alive through that engage, and that's all the CC used. So they're gonna look to re-engage this. Chobin manages to land that, but the Hecarim is running deep. Brewer walks in, finds the 5-man taunt. Swift Duelist is doing so much damage in the back on the Sivir.
Oh no!
But it might not be enough. They managed to pick up the kill onto Cobra. The shutdown is there, but they're forced to disengage here.
Wow, Viego did not have his ultimate to kind of get a reset on any of the low health characters. Oh, it was so sad. And then he kind of focused the tank down. He was targeting Cobra right there, and you know, Cobra did fall, but it was just like unfortunate. Viego could have picked up all of those kills, I think, if he had the ultimate, but just didn't.
He had gotten a little bit of scared at the start of that team fight, understandably so. You saw all 5 of them charging at you, and in that moment he decided to ult over the wall, and he did manage to take Akali with him. Chobin ended up being pretty out of position, but he dropped the Twilight Shroud, he hid in it for a long time, and was able to let the rest of his team catch up. And by that time, if you are IC, you gotta run.
Yeah.
They popped the Encore, they popped the Enchanted Arrow, and they popped the Onslaught. What more can you do?
Yeah, definitely a good recovery, but the second engage was where it all kind of went wrong, right? We thought that, oh, they have no CC, well, hey, that's free kills. But instead, they just stacked their damage abilities on top of each other. That was a really, really, like, enclosed fight in that corridor, and I think that at that moment in time, I think FFNZ kind of went out on those corridor fights.
You know, I think FFNC played it beautifully. They knew that once they used all their CC, that they were going to look for a re-engage there, right as we said it, and that's why they saved all that damage. But it looks like while this Rift Herald is starting to be picked up, they're going to look to engage on Cobra. It's not going to do a whole lot of damage as the Onslaught comes in. Chobin picks up Egoless Nirvana in the background. Dr. Drad dropping incredibly low. The Encore comes out. They manage to pick up the kill onto Swift Duelist. Just Relish is trying to get out of here, but there's nowhere to go when you are CC'd for 6 seconds. And that is another kill going to Chobin.
Oh man, FFNZ are definitely sticking to the first game team fight advantage here. They're grouping together and they're responding to whatever the other team has. You know, the plays that they're making, and it's just working out really, really well for them. Now, all of their carries are getting kills. They're just gonna take this Baird with no contest, you know, no contest, and I think this is the beginning of the end, just like last game.
You know, it's starting to look that way, and when you have a Baron power play active, the first thing that you do is you get those recalls, you buy those items, and then you look to group.
Yeah.
But in a situation when you have Sivir here, it might not be a bad idea to go 4-1.
It might not be. I think they might put a Kali, just leave a Kali in the top lane there, but it's gonna be rough for IC because they already can't win these team fights, and if it's a 4-1, or if it's all five, I mean, what are they going to do? They have a really fed Viego, but he's gonna get locked down and CC'd out of the fight, just like he's been getting. But it looks like Cobra.
Ooh, Cobra manages to get caught out here. The stun does come through. Beautiful stun there, but the enchanted crystal arrow from above Dragon stops the entire engage.
Nice arrow. That was beautiful. And they're gonna take this momentum.
Oh, manly male mailman pops the ghost, runs in onto Swift Duelist. The encore comes out, and in the bot lane, Eagleist picks up Chalupa, but Swift Duelist just went down. That's an ADC for support.
Yeah, that was interesting play. That we were talking about grouping, but it looks like we're just getting picks at this point on both sides.
Ooh. Cobra's looking to chase here,
Yeah.
following Just Relish all the way back. He's got a 3-level advantage here. He's feeling confident, manages to get a lot of damage off. Just Relish is healing just a little bit from this fight. As you see, Cobra has bought the Bramble Vest. That's already the Grievous Wounds, and that is the core item when going against Aatrox.
Yeah, that's it. Even if he's feeling confident, I don't think the stats are kind of in his favor right now. I mean, being 0-7 and 2, being behind on CS, not getting, at least the Servalda's grudge. Oh, what?
Chobin does so much damage.
Ooh.
Oh! Chobin! You can tell that this guy is an Akali player. He's so good at it, but the Braum passive managing to land, and the shutdown goes to Brewer.
Yeah, it's kind of overcommitting for that. It was at a cost. You did lose one of your Baron members, and Dragon is coming up relatively shortly, so they're not going to have a play. Oh, wait a minute.
Just Relish manages to find a humongous pick onto Chalupa. The advantage is now towards IC as the Encore comes out. The Onslaught comes out. Just Relish forced to retreat here, dropping insanely low. Swift Duelist falling low as well, manages to die here. Dr. Dad falling very shortly after. Brewer's trying to make a best out of a bad situation. Pops Zonya's, but nowhere to go.
Wow, and Viego's the only one up. Can Eagleist Nirvana at least maybe attempt to steal it? I mean, it is the third dragon, so it's not necessarily the most important one to steal. And yeah, the teleport is gonna make him back off. What a brutal series of fights this has been. Like, it's not even like we're not even using Baron, and we're just getting picks with the Baron. They weren't able to take any towers with this Baron. I mean,
I'd love to take this fight all the way back to the beginning.
Yeah.
All the way back on the dive with Chobin. Chobin did manage to dive there, and while you lost one of your Baron players, you also took out their most problematic player.
I mean,
now,
that's fair.
without all that damage, it was the time to engage. They found the 4v4, they landed all the CC they needed to, and as you saw there, they got out all the damage they wanted. Just Relish popping the ultimate here. It looks like a fight's going to go down in bot lane at the same time the Enchanted Crystal Arrow is going to come out topside. Not a whole lot going to happen on either side of the map.
Yeah, I guess just erring on the side of caution here as we get into that. But yeah, that team fight was definitely a really long one, and it's crazy because I thought that Icy had it when they stacked in the bush, but Hecarim's the champion. Hecarim does a lot of damage. That Onslaught caught all of them in that choke point, and I was talking about this. Like, choke points are really, really in favor of FF&Z's team right now.
Of course, you never want to get caught in any of those choke points, whether it be Baron, whether it be bot side. You never want to find yourself in a choke point when you're against a team like Hecarim and Seraphine and Ashe. You know you're going to get CC'd into oblivion there.
Yeah, we don't see any Quicksilver sashes or any, we've seen the cleanse happen a few times off of Sivir, but not too much going on in the terms of, oh, I can get out of this and kind of survive. A lot of failed team fights here going in for IC, but they're still hanging on by a thread.
You know, if you're IC here, what is your way of stopping the blood flow here? How do you find a way to your back into this game? Ooh, speaking of, the onslaught immediately going down, followed by the glacial assault on the Swift Duelist. Duelist is going to drop in the background, Dr. Dad following very shortly after.
Oh, another stopped gank from that Crystal Arrow. And to answer your question, I'm not sure there's much you can do against this Hecarim. Oh my god. He's doing it again.
This is insane. Just Relish is getting dived again. Very reminiscent of the 8-minute mark. Finds himself dived under mid lane tower.
Yeah. I mean, having the Viego, he's doing a lot of work right now.
Speaking of Viego, he's found his way into the back of these team fights, and he's going to pick up another one onto Chalupa, giving it over to Brewer.
Yeah, so I think that's the angle that they kind of need to go with. They need to pick off the person who is splitting, but they're taking
Brewer's gonna keep this going.
What?
Manages to land the taunt onto Cobra. Nirvana deciding to get in there, do some extra damage to Cobra. Manly Mailman now a little bit out of position, finds himself jumped on, nowhere to go, is gonna fall. Shutdown goes to Eagleless Nirvana.
Uh-oh.
10 and 3 right now. The Flash gonna come out. They're trying to hunt down Zerathai. And they're gonna get him too. Shutdown goes to Brewer.
Baird's on the table. This could be their way in. This is definitely their way in.
This is a power play. They've already covered 2k of that gold loss. Now they're trying to get onto this Baron. And there's not a whole lot you can do if you're FF&Z here.
Yeah,
but they're gonna try it anyways.
anyways.
Chobin's actually going to engage on this. He manages to get the Twilight Shroud down, staying alive just a little bit longer. Massive damage comes out.
Wow.
They don't even need Manly Mailman. They said, we got it this time. 11,000 gold. Right as we said, there might have been a chance here for IC. FFNZ decides that they're going to crush this team. They're going to come in again. The GGs have been called. They're pushing right up to this Nexus turrets with the Baron empowered minions.
Yep.
We're looking at 20-second death timers.
That's it.
This is game.
That is game. Another really well-played game from FF&Z. Holy moly. Like, the back and forth had me a little scared, but they definitely pulled it off.
That was a fantastic game. Honestly, I can't believe that Chobin made some of these dives. Those were some highlight reel type dives.
Yeah, that was incredible Hecarim gameplay. I mean, the constant gank to shut down Relish was important, right? Because we saw how well he did during the early stages of the game in the first game, right? But then once you just get the pressure and you start to fall, like Aatrox can't really do much. And it showed. And I think that was a really good play on Manly Mailman. What a name too, by the way. But yeah, that was crazy.
It looks like Chobin is available for an interview if we are able to pull them down.
Ooh, I don't. Do I have the power to move? Let's see.
Let me see if I can get Ito's attention.
Oh, wait. There we go. Hey.
Hello.
Hello, Chobin. Congratulations on your victory.
Thank you.
You know, I wanted to pull you in here. We had a couple of questions going over those games, but, you know, I have to say, that was absolutely crazy in that last game. That last Baron play, tell me what was going through your mind.
I was just thinking, if I don't get CC'd, I'm gonna kill everybody. And I waited out when I went in and E'd backwards, I waited out their, I think the Braum queue and the initial Aatrox queue, and then just got in and got my R1 cast without getting CC'd, and once I did that, I can just W go into Shroud and get as much damage off as possible.
I was going to say, those were some highlight reel plays.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, it was a little bit like, oh, like, we had, like, 3 players die, like, or 2 players die. Let's see what we can do, though, because we still have the advantage when it comes down to it, right? they only had a Viego that was like their most fed champion on their team, like, and even he kind of succumbed to all the CC that you guys were throwing at them. So I definitely want to take a look at game one, though. I think it was pretty cut and clear on how you guys wanted to play it. You guys had a standard like team fight comp. Was there kind of a worry going in game one, like saying, okay, if they get ahead early, we're gonna definitely fall to this Silas who didn't go against the Malphite, surprisingly enough. Were you guys kind of expecting the early game to go as smooth as it did for you guys?
Um, Probably not. Like, we were pretty aware that, like, if we don't fall behind early and are still in the game at like 20 minutes, we're probably just gonna win because by the time team fights come around for dragons, our our team comp was just so much better than theirs.
Yeah.
It's too hard for them to fight into us, and then at the same time we can just engage on them in so many ways.
Right. Yeah, that definitely showed. All right, Celio, do you have any more questions for MVP or interviewee, I guess?
I have a couple.
All right.
So tell me, in game two, at the start of the game, you had noticed that Eagleus managed to pull 2 early game kills, and then just off those 2 early game kills, followed shortly after with the quadra kill. Now you had a 6-0 Viego at that moment. It had to have been scary. What were you all thinking on how to shut him down?
Yeah, so our initial game plan was if we kill Sivir, they don't have really any reliable damage, but we had to shift our game plan once. I think at one point Viego was 8-0, so we just shifted our game plan to only focus Viego in these fights and just CC him and kill him, and then we'll deal with the rest after. And once we started switching to that, it was pretty much a wrap.
Around the 21-minute mark, you all were prepping for Dragon, and you had saw Egoless Nirvana towards the bot lane. You had pushed up on that bot lane and then proceeded to dive him past the inner tower, almost into their base, where you had picked up that kill on him. What was the plan there?
Uh, I was telling my team, I know he's really strong right now, but I think that he thinks he can 1v1 me, which he just can't. So I'm just gonna try to kill him before Dragon.
And boy, did that work out. What were the team communication like in that 4v4 after you all used all that CC and they started to stack in that bush and re-engage the fight? What was going through your heads?
Are you talking about the Dragon right after I killed me and Viego traded?
Yes.
Uh, I basically was saying to the team that he's all their gold. Aatrox is 0-8. You guys just win this, and they did.
So just turn and kill them forehead, right? Like that was as simple as that, right? Just go for it. Yeah, yeah.
I remember Cobra got like a really big Sejuani W on both Sivir and someone else, and it was just the fight after that.
That's right. It was the Sivir and the Braum had gotten hit with the Sejuani W, and then they just continued to chase down. It was a beautiful fight. And one last question for you before you go. In the fight before the last one, Viego, you had landed the E onto Viego. Viego ulted over the wall, and you had followed that. You got pulled over the wall into all 5 members by yourself with your team stuck across the wall. What was your game plan there?
Don't remember that. Wait, what happened?
It was around the 24-ish minute mark. You had landed your E bot side around the dragon. Onto Viego.
Oh.
Viego ulted over the wall and it dragged you with him.
Right by Dragon Pit, he pulled me
Yeah.
over the wall. Yeah. I at that fight, I just got stopwatch, so I was just trying to get them to go onto me, so I could buy as much time for my team as possible, and we could get Viego, because our whole comms there was just kill Viego.
Yeah.
And I think you all performed beautifully on that.
Yeah.
Any questions from you, Wookie?
That's about it for me. Congratulations once again, Chobin, on your victory today. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for your
I
time.
just say one thing.
Yeah.
Of course.
Shout out to Zaratha, the worst ADC in the league.
Oh boy. Oh no. Well,
All right,
all
thank you guys.
right. Yep. Take it
Thank you very
easy.
much.
And that about wraps it up for us here on the desk. That was a fun and exciting series. A very dominant performance from FFNZ. I think they're going to do really well. I mean, I'm going to face them eventually, so we'll see how that goes. But
I
yeah.
look forward to casting that game.
Oh, no. But yeah, that's going to do it for us here. I hope you all had a very enjoyable time here on the BTL series. We'll catch you this weekend, I think, for the next game. I'm not sure when that exactly is, but yeah, I've been WookieMonster. Alongside me is Celio, and we will catch you later.